that should work. You tell me if I'm live. I wonder if we're live or not. Ba 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 ba. Do 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 do. Hey y'all. That work? Ba 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 ba. The no notice live stream. I don't think I've had a live stream since January, so I don't expect anyone to join, but I expect them to watch it after the fact. Fidget spinner. Try one more. When did these fidget spinners come out? What's that? 2010? That late? Yeah, 2010. I should put it on my nose. I should do the whole stream with a fidget spinner nose. What do you think? Remember when you tried to steal this from me? You should be my co-host. Make you into a YouTube personality. One more spin while we wait for King Banana Head. I bet Chris Marie won't even join us. Look at that amazing technology. These must have some well-greased ball bearings. Can you hear it? Is that audio coming through? Alright, good. Hello, everybody. Once eventually more than 2 people join. Oh, you know what? Hold on, sit tight, sit tight. Bump, 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 bump. All right. It's my 3 minutes and 40 seconds of enough of that crap. So welcome, everybody. I'm back. Oh, it's good to be back. As you could imagine, I've been extremely busy managing stuff, right? Right, Andrew? My co-host is with me today. AJ. What do we want to call you? AJ, Andrew, Joseph? Andrew. And we decided to get on here because, A, I got a lot of stuff back here I want to open up. And I decided to open it prior to making any videos about it. And this way, I can get that out of the way. And talk about some auction news. And who knows when I will have the time to do this again. So anyway, before I get into it, this is going to be very heavily, peace, love, music, welcome. Welcome. Thank you. We started a war. Well, we didn't start a war. Israel started a war. So now we're in war footing. And what was that meme? I saw a thing, Futurama. Andrew, you would like this. It showed Fry, and he was screaming, pulling his hair out. I said, is this what all the new recruits feel? Imagine all those new recruits thinking they might end up going to war now. They're like, oh, crap. And what else happened? What else was big in the news? We got the war. Oh, and the riots. Yes, we might have riots. So, hey, better I get this in before they start rioting. You know, in Florida, where I am, they supposedly say you can run over the riders. So we'll see. I don't know that I would do that because, A, you'll dent your car. Would you do that, Andrew? Would you run over riders?
If my life was threatened.
Yes, if our life is threatened, we would. But other than that, no. And yeah. Yeah, and we don't want to get blood and guts and hair on the car. That would be kind of lame. So anyway, I'm gonna look at a lot of auction stuff going on. The last two auctions, and then I'll show you my haul. I'll kind of do some unboxing. I don't want to get into any current events or any of that crap right now because I don't have a lot of time. But it came to my attention that this is Julian's auction where I got a lot of musical stuff. I still have to uncrate. You know, Andrew, we're way behind on uncrating that Christine McVie Fleetwood Mac auction stuff. So we have to get that done. We have to get that stuff framed. We have Christine McVie's Grammy nomination. We have her Rumors Platinum album. Can you believe that? 27 times platinum. And it's been sitting in a crate. And I always say, I don't know if they even sent me the items. It could be a case of bricks sitting in there. Who the hell knows until we open it? And that was months ago. So hopefully they sent us what they did. Now I'm going to show you this. Let me move the camera. You see this corner? Look at that. That's all the stuff from Milestone piled back there in that corner. And that's a lot of stuff. So that I'm not even going to get to. Then on this side, I have these four bins. These came from Japan, some secret sauce stuff. Very cool. Then over here, we have a huge Jimmy Page amp, believe it or not. On top of the amp, actually, those were framed. We have original pulp art. Andrew, I can get you on camera. Look, sitting there. I think I can. Hey, wave. And there's my co-partner in crime here. So yeah, we're so out of room. I've been filling up wall space like crazy. So anyway, there was one item in this. Did I get this camera back? One item in this. So you have in here right now. This is coming up. I think the 19th. You have some Star Trek memorabilia, ephemera. I don't think any of this is from the original series, which I'm more of an original series kind of guy. But they did have a Forbidden Planet item. Let's see if I can find it. And I have, I think, four pieces of Forbidden Planet concept art now. Only one went out to the framers, if you could believe it. And the other ones are sitting in freaking boxes now for 2 years, I think. As a matter of fact, since Peace, Love, and Music is here, talking about music, I think they made 10 Beach Boys. This is from Genesis Publishing that does a lot of limited edition classic rock stuff. I had the artist proof of the Beach Boys recording Good Vibrations, signed by Brian Wilson, rest in peace, Jardine, Mike Love, and one other member. And that's been sitting packaged. 4 Jimmy Page prints, I think with his most iconic guitars, sitting in boxes. So tons of musical stuff. I can't even remember them all. But, I have to get there and figure out where they're going to go, what walls they're going to occupy. And I'm going to scroll through this because then we're going to get to the auction stuff. I can't spend a lot of time here today. So you can see some of these cool props. Ice Pirates robot. I've never even heard of the Ice Pirates, but it's maybe after my time. Here's some cool X-Files stuff. Where is the Forbidden Planet? Here's the Fantastic Four. Sometimes I think Disney's just parting out their cool stuff because they're like not making any money on their movies, but I can't say for sure. Because some of the props that I see, I'm like, who the hell had these things? And why would they be selling them now? But that begs the question, how long will these things be collectible for? When are these things going to lose steam? What do you think, Andrew? You think movie props, the tin toys, are they going to lose collectability at some point? I know, but what about the era? What about which people we're gonna? Let's look at the tin toys, for instance. I was thinking about this. Just like the really old cars, is it going to be a situation where the tin toys lose steam because the people that remember them are gone? I mean, I started collecting and they're already past my time, you know?
Geology is still big. I mean, people would still pay good money for like a Roman coin, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't know if this will be in the same area, you know? That'll be interesting to see. Will these types of items hold value? And I never started collecting them for value, but I have so much invested in them that I certainly don't want them to lose a ton, Um, but we'll see. So this is the last page. Let's see if it's over here. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. So anyway, it's one of the original Forbidden Planet uniforms. I think it was the main guy. Where was it over here? I might have to type it in. Let's type in Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet. Here we go. So here is Chief Quinn, Richard Anderson. Is this the same Richard Anderson that was in Hi Chris Murray? Is this the same Richard Anderson that was he in the $6 million man? Am I wrong? Andrew, do me a favor, look up Richard Anderson, see if he was in the $6 million man. Maybe it's not the same person. If he is, he was very young. Although not necessarily. 1956, $6 million man came out, and I don't know, 20 years later. Oh, he was. Oscar Goldman, yeah. So it's the same guy. Okay, so Oscar Goldman was Captain Quinn. And so, yeah, I mean, like, would it be cool to have this original suit? The ensemble they estimate at 5 to 7, but uniforms are, not uniforms, but costumes are tricky because if you don't have them under glass, you have a threat from like silverfish and other vermin just deteriorating them. So that's one of my concerns, and I'd like to have this thing like in a mannequin maybe. And the fabric's usually very thin and fragile, like tears easy. So I don't know. I don't know. And let's go back, see what other Forbidden Planet stuff. That was it. So that was a cool one. There's a one sheet and it sold for 27.80. Are you kidding me? That was a steal. Oh no, July 2nd. So it's still, look at that. I have a half sheet and a three sheet. I actually don't have a one sheet. So it would be tempting, although I don't have a place to put it. So that's what's going on as far as the old stuff. So at the Milestone auction, which once I get through this, I'm just going to kind of blow through some of these prices here. There was probably the most significant battery toy collection I've seen in, it had to be 15, 20 years. And you can see some of the stuff here. A nice Fred Ondino, $1,200. I bid on, you can see if it says outbid, it means I bid on it. I don't have the bubble blowing Popeye of all things. I do have the rowboat, the Popeye and the spinach can, which is a great toy, great toy. This was a reproduction box on the Superman. Look at the Yeti monster, though. Every time I think the prices are going to crater, $5,750 for a freaking Yeti. That's unbelievable. That has to be a record price. Calypso Joe, 450, great price. So these things, as I scroll over, I think they're all very well bought, but I don't know how long the battery toy prices are going to stay flat. Maybe they could decline a little more. The Haunted House, $3,400. That's a solid price. They've stayed solid for a long time. Andrew, the trees here, the spooky trees, always solid. Like what is that? 1650. Well, let me go up a little bit. 1650, $2,300. Mighty Kong, Big Mouth. Somebody asked me like, Yeah, they said we really want it, and so I didn't bid on this. The only thing I liked about this toy was the box. I thought was pretty cool because it's King Kong adjacent, but I didn't bid on it out of respect for somebody that asked me. But then King Kong himself, 1,500. You would think King Kong as a monster, sort of a kaiju, would be actually more than the Yeti, but for whatever reason, that was an exceptionally clean Yeti. Mickey Magician, I mean, he's pretty much stabilized $1,300 to $1,500. Drumming Mickey for 500 is well bought. Donald Duck Fire Truck, that was a good price. So, I won't go through every single one. Super Susie, I have somewhere, I don't know where. And a lot of the toys I showed you in that corner are battery toys. And look at this Rembrandt Monkey. Now, I have a pretty mint one. I'm missing the freaking paintbrush on mine. And I said, should I get it just for the paintbrush? $2,300. I was like, nope. No, sorry, Bob. I don't want the paintbrush that much. But it's a cool toy. This single barrel here, this was a steal, in my opinion. $1,000 for this. Oof. In the original box. Can I let me scroll it here. That was a steal. So good on whoever got it. The double barrels always bring strong money. 3,300. So it actually exceeded the estimate. And we'll get to like the space toy stuff. I bid on one of these. I have Pistol Pete. I was outbid. I don't think I have the sheriff version of Pistol Pete. They look identical. The boxes are different. I probably should have went a little higher, but I didn't. Um, the Shooting Bear 230 was a pretty good price, kind of a steal. Musical organ grinder for 425, very cheap. Bedrock Band 550s, fair. Serpent Charmer for 925. That's a really good price. I remember when they were like 2000. Allie the Alligator 350 here. That was a good price. It's kind of a hard toy to get mint in the box. Obviously, I'm blowing through some of these, but you can see them. I actually won the phone bank. You can see here. One. And the phone bank's been on eBay. Some guy's been selling it for like $1,500 forever. And I just said, thank God I finally found the cheap one. And I think the allure of this toy is when you dial the phone, Santa actually picks up his phone and starts talking to you. So that's pretty damn cool. I guess it could be considered a Christmas toy. And I kind of shy away from Christmas stuff, but that's just a really cool tin battery toy. What else do we got over here? Some of the common bears and monkeys. You're not going to get a lot. Jungle Jimbo, I probably should have been on. This used to be another toy that back in the day, man, that would be like $1,200 to $1,500. Makeup Bear for $525, very well bought. That used to be expensive. The switchboard operator, good price on that because I think that's a very cool toy. If you see the other side of it, the dashboard. Here, let me show you. Really intricate over here. You see all the nice panel. I mean, you could literally rip that panel off and build a robot out of it. In fact, like if the robot hut ever sees this, I'd say, how about we buy a donor, like a junker one of these, as long as this panel's in good shape here, we just stick some legs on it, a head, and you got kind of like a squared off Mr. Atomic with that. That would be my thing. But it's a cool toy, even as it is. A job that no longer exists. The switchboard operator. I always tell that when we have women or the little girls come into the collection here. I'm like, yep, that's a job that a lot of girls used to have back in the day. Fishing Bears Bank, nice clean one for $625. That's a good price. There are a lot of clown stuff. I was tempted to start picking up more clown toys, but I was like, oh, I'm so tight on room. I'll go through some of these comments. $3,000. Again, when you think that these toys are kind of bottoming out, you get the clown vending machine selling for $3,000, which is a great price. It's a great toy. It's actually like a coin-op toy. You can probably use a dime or a penny to activate it. And it would be like technically a vendor, a real vending machine. You could load this little hopper up here with peanuts or maybe M&Ms or something, and you put your coin in, it would dispense it. So that's pretty damn cool. See the dispenser right there. We have one in the collection here, but it's a great toy. And the all tin litho clown is very cool. So I'll skip through some of these. I did bid on this Pete the Parrot. I don't think it was ever removed from the box. These are toys that actually record. So you hit a button and it sort of records your voice on the little vinyl record. I think a lot of these broke. Maybe the vinyl record gets brittle. But if it's working, it's a really cool toy. I was just a little leery. It's big. It wouldn't have any room to display it. It would just be sitting for years until I figured out, is it working? And then do I send it somewhere to get fixed? And some more Popeye stuff. Here's some more of the battery toy stuff. Again, great collection. Very comprehensive and broad battery toy. Here's your Red Gulch bar. This is a great toy. This guy back here is a tin litho. He's actually on a shaft and he moves like the cowboy who raises his gun and, shoots at him. And this separate piece here, the bartender moves out of the way. It's really cool. It always brings in good money. I thought that was actually fairly inexpensive for that toy. I've seen it generally well over 2,000. And what else do we have here? Oh, I won this because I have the other truck with the carousel. So I said, you know what? I have to have, as a completionist. So somewhere in that pile I showed you, I have now the truck with the Ferris wheel. And quite honestly, this box is very tough to find. If you look through all your auction records, you're not going to see that box for sale too often. Right, Andrew? I think you're just agreeing and just doing other stuff there. Here's a cutie cook. Is that the original box? Yeah. I could use I have all the cutie cooks. I could probably use two more original boxes, but I didn't get it because the box was a little too faded for me. But for a while I couldn't find the bear and the other ones, and now all of a sudden they're popping up. Maybe I dragged them out of the woodwork when I probably overpaid for a few of them. But $750 is still a good price. Look at the Green Hornet car here. Holy moly, $1450. We have that in the collection. Batman adjacent. The Green Hornet was in the Batman 60s, the Adam West era Batman. He was in a couple of episodes. Some more vehicles here. I blow through the vehicles. I have mine sitting under my Astro Boy sleeping Adam statue, but they don't look very, very good. Check this out. $3,300 for the Circus television truck. Now, this has a little bit of crossover appeal because it's got this rocket on the seal. So some people consider it space toy adjacent. I say that's a generous interpretation, but it is a little bit spacey to have it. And it's just, again, all solid tin. The clown is very cool looking. And then it has this television feature, which plays some scrolling. They almost look like lenticular images on there. And it's just a really cool toy. So complete, it's hard to find. It's usually missing that antenna. So $3,300 is not surprising. But again, so for the good, rare stuff, they bring good money. Smokey Bear, I picked this up. Won't have room, but it should smoke, and it's all tin. The bear's all tin, and I've had a hard time finding a very clean one in the box. So I said, well, now I have it. I don't have Happy Miner. I used to have a nice one, and for some reason I got rid of it. And the only reason I didn't go for this is it was missing the the bag with the dollar sign on it. And does this one even have the bag? I don't think it had the bag, but it was very inexpensive. Once upon a time, this toy used to be in the neighborhood of like $1,200 to $1,500. So whenever I see, a couple $100, I think, man, that is cheap, cheap, cheap. Tarzan, minty fresh. Look at that, $1,650. I think that's cheap. He's sort of underrated. Good character toy. Sammy Wong, I have one. I think that one had a little bit, some condition issues. Outbid on this. I was wondering if this would have been a little bit of a upgrade for me, but $1,450 for the Jolly Bear and Robin Great freaking toy, rare, 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 rare box. So I'm surprised that it didn't get a little higher, quite frankly. Let's see here. The Gypsy Fortune Teller, almost 3,000. Again, it's considered monster toy. It's also sort of a coin op and a vending toy because you can put the slugs or the coins in there, and it vends a card just like the real one. And that's a good price for it. I think it had all 20 of its cards, or her cards. Let's scroll up here. So, we always put that in the monster toy. I want Arthur a Go-Go. I think that's a Ringo Starr toy. I'm actually going to see Ringo. I think we're in the first three rows. The first three rows for Ringo and his all-star band, which has, I think, Men at Work, Steve Lukather, Edgar Winter. No, yeah, Edgar Winter. And this is my second time, I think. Andrew, are you going to go yet, or you don't know? All right. So my other son will go. He's a big Beatles fan. Okay, the Bear Magician for about 3,000. I remember once upon a time this sold for like at a Smith House auction, crazy, like over 10,000, I think. So it's come down quite a bit. The Walking Knight for two, pretty good price. I think the sword's supposed to be attached though, so I don't know if that affected because I thought it was actually pretty cheap. Snappy, well, I have this mint and it's missing the hat. I'm assuming this was the original hat, and I still think that this was a pretty good price for this. I'm surprised it didn't hit about 5,000 for Captain Hook with his hat. And Snappy has gone down a little bit. Snappy the Dragon. Andrew, we have to turn our Snappy on. We have two of these things now. Make sure it works. That's big. As a matter of fact, we had some restoration on our first one that was done at who's our Anthony Restorations. And if you look on their advertisement in like Antique Toy World, they have our toy. They have a couple of our toys, and that was one of their favorite projects. So they use our Snappy. Here's some Batman stuff. 2,400 for this car here. It's pretty good. Not sure I've ever seen this car. Oh, I won. I didn't even know I won this, Sandra. Look, I won a Batman revolver.
That's funny because Batman doesn't use
Well, yeah, he's going to use this one because it's got his face on it. I have this in the box. I've seen these go all over the place. I think the box is much rarer than the toy. Going to kind of scroll by these. This Jaguar was interesting, but ultimately I passed on it. I'm sure it's tiny and it's got Robin. I think it's a very cool toy. You can see here. But I don't know why. I just, I don't know. Maybe I'm waiting for a box version. The Remco, this kind of a drive mobile type thing was interesting. But again, one of those big toys that I probably would never be able to display anywhere. This is the restored version of that car that sold for 150,000 in the box. So not surprised that this hit 21,000. And this car I've never seen before. Beautiful graphics on this. I was very tempted. I bid, but the condition just was not my cup of tea. I mean, as rare as some things are, like I do draw the line for condition sensitive items, if you kind of get my drift here. And, it's like one of those things I'd almost rather pay double and get a really clean one and then quadruple and get it in the box. If I could. Now we're up to the space stuff. I'm surprised that Pinocchio Atomico was passed on. This was an absolute, the steal of the century. They said it had some restoration, but where the hell are you going to get a Winky, freaking telephone Winky robot for 2,400 bucks? That's like insanely cheap. Whoever bought that stole it. You could probably flip it for double at least, if not triple, at the right auction. The rare saucer, 8,500. I think this was cheap, believe it or not. I've only seen this box for sale twice in like 20 years. It's probably one of the rare space toy boxes. So to get that for 8,500 is an absolute bargain. And what else? What else? What else? This one says I was outbid. We'll get back to this. Beautiful, beautiful graphics. I think this box has only been for sale maybe once in like 25 years. So that's like crazy rare. This is another rare toy. This is I actually fairly cheap. I'm surprised it didn't go for like 2,500 or 3,000. The Senkai Red Little Friction toy. So I was outbid on this. I have this toy Dead Mint, and this went for 21 freaking thousand. Oh my God, I needed the box, but you know what? Like at Mandarake, this freaking motorcycle sold for 35,000. But I just couldn't, I mean, I have the toy mint, so I could have just gotten, acquired the box to put with my toy. But it was just hard to justify the condition of this toy. I mean, good for the seller and good for the buyer. They got it, but it was like, I just said, no. I mean, I even draw the line. Just sometimes it's just too much, too much. But I gave it a spirited go. I did bid on this. I don't even know if I had this or not, but like the condition of like, look, it's missing an entire section of the box. So, yeah, yeah. One of the highlights, the Atom Jet in the box, 41,000 big ones. Look at this one, Andrew, in case anyone asks you. Can you see it? 41,000 for this car. I think that box has been sold twice, and that's probably been flipped a few times. I mean, two times that I know of. And it's been that box has been churned a couple times, is what I'm saying. So that's an excellent price. Um, Space Fighter for 21,000. Again, extremely rare box. My Space Fighter is a little bit cleaner, but one of those boxes that you have a few opportunities in your life to buy. Same with this, the Mars trip in the original box, 8,750 big ones. I have two of these, believe it or not. Only one box, though. And they have some variations on them. Oh, back to the good old days, the Jupiter 37,000. This is the price that was back at Sotheby's, like close to it, around 2000, like a quarter of a century ago. You're not going to get like that kind of rebirth, of these prices. It's very unusual to capture the magic, but like, I think people realize, you know what? Those Jupiter robots were pretty damn freaking rare. And so somebody woke up and said, yeah, I want the box. So I don't know if this is with even the buyer's premium, but with or without, it's a lot of coin. It would be over 40 without. Mr. Atomic, I actually did win this. Some people were like, dude, that was a lot. I'm like, you know what? I haven't had a good Mr. Atomic, and I can't tell you when. And I don't think I've ever had an original box. So this box is going to the restore ASAP, and we're going to clean it up, and then I'll have a nice minty version. It's funny how this tulip head, 2,500 bucks all the time, all day long, all day long. What else? Let me keep scrolling. So here is sort of like the surprise, but not the surprise. A lot of people didn't expect this, and that's because there's only maybe 3 or 4 of these brownish color, otherwise common Sparky robots. And what was the estimate on this? Did it say $600 to $800? So imagine you're the seller, and it's like $600 to $800, and then all of a sudden, wait, big ones. So yeah. That was a surprise. Well, not to the people that know. We sort of expected it to go higher. But everyone was trying to be low key about it, But I knew it was going to go high. And a couple of nice space toys, very well bought. These were fairly cheap. see, you guys are down there. Can I go higher? Let me bring this up so maybe you could. Nope, that's not going to work. So you can't see the bottom, unfortunately, but oh well. Go to the next page. More space toys, fairly inexpensive. Ooh, they passed on the Astro Scout 3. That's surprising because Astro Scout 3, I mean, it's pretty rare and not a lot of people have it. So, I miss anything good up there? 27 for that? Let's see. No surprises here. This was interesting. This was that Retro 123. They used to go for like a couple of $1,000. Now they're supposed to be just plain steel. These were painted. I was tempted, but I don't know if I like them painted or not. Maybe if they painted the whole thing. But they're huge toys. They're like this big. I actually had ordered a set once and they came in dented. Like the UPS driver crushed them. So I had to file to get a refund and yada yada. It was not an easy process. Big Lou in the box. I mean, man, he is always bringing in the bucks. $3,600 never goes down. But you know, you don't usually get a really nice Big Lou in the box. Flutterburst for $400, very cheap. The lighthouse I want, I've been looking for a nice lighthouse for a long time. It's kind of rare to get in the box. Look at this. Ice Cream Bear. I bid on this. I couldn't believe I was outbid for the chocolate eating. It must be much rarer than the vanilla. Believe it or not, there's a vanilla version and a chocolate. $17.50 for a freaking bear eating ice cream. You see that, Andrew? Are you watching? The chocolate. Chocolate. I guess they like chocolate over vanilla. And what else? Anything else good here? Again, look at the breadth of this battery toy collection. It's, excellent. Excellent. They had just about all like the Brian Moran stuff you could think of and then some. And the last page here. Yeah, all your standards. This was interesting. I was tempted to. I like it. It's set that like amusement park theme, but ultimately, again, it's the room thing. So before I unbox a few things, let me just show you. Morphe's had their auction shortly thereafter. And let's see what they had going on. I'm scrolling. Well, look, Nutty Nibs and Calypso Joe for $600. That's pretty cheap. I think that auction had a Nutty Nibs with white eyes. Here's a Casper here. Let me bring this in a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to wait till I get to like more like the battery and not the common tin stuff. In fact, let me pull up the bottom here. Another bubble blowing Popeye. I just kind of spaced on this collection, but here's a Popeye tank with a reproduction box. And I think like all the reproduction Popeye boxes are coming from my original box when I first had the toy before I reacquired it, because I for whatever reason I remember making laser copies and somebody must have got a hold of them. And they've been making them ever since. So here's some. Look at the juggler here, $922. That's pretty cool. I mean, if space was no issue, so they had $584. So I guess $600 is the going rate for the bubbler. A lot of Popeye stuff. The Hogue Popeye boat. I remember when this used to be like a $10,000 item. This guy here. So it's kind of come down. It's a big toy to display. It's actually, the problem with this toy for me, the Hogue boat, is it's a lot of tin and not a lot of Popeye, in my opinion. The balance is more on the boat than the Popeye. Let's Oh, here's another Pleasant Cap, another toy that used to be unbelievably rare. They did in Battery Toys, the book by Brian Moran. They didn't even know what to call this thing because nobody at that point, 1984, 41 years ago, had seen the box. So how times have changed. Now we know it's the funny river monster. And how long has this stream been on for? I have no idea. Does this say how long I've been on? Jungle Trio. Yeah.
You started around 1:30, right? So it's 2:12.
So I gotta get to the unboxing, and I can get some of this stuff out of my office here. GI Joes. Where's the robots? This is the last page. Don't tell me I. Okay. So this is the main thing I was getting at. The Target sold for $19,200. That's right there. 19.2. High Bounce. I don't know if this is an original box, but that would be a steal for $13.75. Yowza, that's cheap, cheap, cheap. Some Zoomers. Moon Car in the nice box, 2,400. That's about where it's getting. A Moon Explorer in the original box for almost 5,000. Always bringing in the good bucks. Here's a Ray Roar Robbie for 450. They pretty much stabilized at that. This Zog is pretty cool looking and got 480. And that was it. I think that was the highlight. And we go to baseball. So we're going to leave it at that. And that was it for the auction stuff when it comes to the toys. So let me get rolling with some. Actually, this I'm not going to open because, I'm going to leave this wrap, but let me expand myself and tell you what I have going on here. So this is the, gotta go pull it back. This is your Mr. Atomic box that is going right to Anthony Restorations, and we'll see how well it comes out. However, this is your Mr. Atomic. Andrew, we got to find a home for this guy. So let's open up Mr. Atomic and see if we like it or not. I hope I like it. You never know. You never know. Oh, people on here. I wonder if the Robot Hut's on here. I have no idea. John, if you're on here, you got to say hello. Let's see. And you know what? I never had the original blue Mr. Atomic. That's another plus. And I have the Eric Joyner giant Mr. Atomic painting, which I believe it's blue there. So now, Eric Joyner paints reproductions. So, when it comes to Mr. Atomic, there's no delineation. You can't assume it's a reproduction. So I'm like, no, that's the original Mr. Atomic. Oh, wow, this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Nice dome. Oh, the ears, you could tell wow, we're going to have to, going to do a side by side, this original versus the reproduction. And there's a hints of crazing, which I'm actually glad because, kind of authenticates it. The little foam stuff's all deteriorated, which again shows you that it's legit. Can you imagine if I look at this and I'm like, whoa, what do you know? It's a reproduction. Here's the bottom. So it looks like everything is legit on this guy. And it has a little Braxton. And so very clean, very nice, nice dome. Let's put him here. Next to his box, we don't want him to fall over. And What is six? Yeah. This is mine. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see what the miracle of 615 is. That's got a lot of that popcorn falling all over the place. Shrink. Gotta shrink myself. Man, I better hit the gym. Not liking my, I think the camera's adding 10 pounds to the 10 pounds I already added. Oop, scissors. Bum, 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 bum. Andrew, we got to have our janitorial guy come here and clean this office. You think? Every time he comes in here, though, like I'm missing cables. And then I hear, I didn't touch anything. All right, let's see what this is. I have to track all this bubble wrap. I threw out two huge boxes yesterday. Holy cow! It must have had like 100 pounds of bubble wrap in there. And I said to myself, here I am throwing this bubble wrap out. Well, not bubble wrap, peanuts. I'm sorry, peanuts. But I'm throwing out the bubble wrap too. And I said, like 2 days after I throw out this bubble wrap or peanuts and bubble wrap, it's going to be like, hey, I need to ship something. Do we have any peanuts? Nope. Let's go to the store and buy some packing peanuts. All right. Woo! Nice, 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 nice. And now, lot 615 is your brown Sparky. Wow, this one is uber clean. Look at that. Some of you might be saying, well, it said on the thing that you were outbid. Yes, it did, but I have my secret ways. So, finally, I think I have all the Sparkies now. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it sure seems like it. Again, these are the one items I'm opening. I have four more, and then we're going to call it a day and come back another day. These things are unrelated, but I will open them today just because I've been wanting to open them. Actually, you know what? I'm going to open these now. Heavy, too. Heavy, heavy. All right, so I mentioned, well, not live, but on some of my videos that I won some items from the Bob Clampett, I think it was Van Eaton Galleries. Looney Tunes, Bob Clampett, the artist. The oh, this must be a two-piecer. Hmm. Okay. Am I missing something? Now I'm confused. Does this say anything? Well, that's weird. This is, wow, this is like powder. Maybe it's cocaine. Anyway, this is the Annie Award for Carl Stalling. So when you hear Looney Tunes and all that cool music, it was made by Carl Stalling. Let's see if I can get on. It's got powder falling everywhere, so I'm kind of hesitant here to. I don't know if I could even get that on there. Well, that's what that is. And this looks like a base, but I have no idea how this. No, it doesn't sit like that. Man, it's like this is like. Was this an ashtray? What the hell? What in the hell is this thing? Anyway, I'll read it to you. It says the 1978 Annie Award Carl Stalling for distinguished contribution to the art of animation, International Animated Film Society, ASIFA, Hollywood. So this thing is making a mess. It looks like some kind of weird ashtray, and I had two things, and I'm not sure exactly how this goes. So, and we're gonna have to figure that out. Oh my God. A bunch of gold flake fell over here. Oh, how did I get this big like this? Let's shrink it up. Wow, this was messy. Holy cow, we're definitely gonna need the vacuum here. Oof. You know what? Let me look up Carl Stalling. That's for those Stalling. Annie. Oh, oh, here's a. Here we go. This is what it looks like. All right, so it's supposed to sit on top, but it doesn't look like it actually. It's like something's missing. Something's missing out of here. I'm gonna have to go through that. Gonna have to go through the what you call it. I'm gonna look through that. All right. Anyway, you know what? A mess. It's a mess. Well, that's his Annie Award. Now I had another award too, but maybe I didn't. Oh, let's go back here. Oh yeah, this was I did win this also. The 24 Carat Award. Actually, I sent that to be framed. So this is Bob Clampett's. Let's see. From Warner Brothers. Oh my goodness. I feel like the that ashtray looking thing derailed my whole stream. All right, we're at the home stretch here. Last item. Last item. Bum, 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 bum. Too much dead air here, Andrew. I need to do a song and a dance when I'm impromptu. I know, what a mess here. See, like this old award from like 1978 is falling apart or whatever the year was. I think it was 78. And I'm thinking, imagine you buy those costumes, from the 1950s. Those things really probably fall apart. And they actually just recently sold that one from Forbidden Planet. So I'm even more skeptical. I'm wondering, like, is that even what it looks like today? I guess you'd have to be there. That's my problem. I don't get to these places to see this stuff live. All right, the last item in the queue, part one. Oh, Jesus. Ah, there we go. Dun 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 dun. The space control gun with a rocket handle. And you might be saying, hey, weren't you outbid on that? And the answer is yes. And how did you get it? I have my secret way. Yeah, 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 yeah. And the complimentary package. By the way, I'm going to have in the breakout TV room a pretty cool wall dedicated to all this Warner Brothers stuff. So we got some original animation art. the cool stuff though, from like the 40s, the good Bugs Bunny stuff, Looney Tune stuff, the good episodes, the classic episodes, not the new stuff, or newer, I should say. Well, and last but not least, dun dun dun. Well, this has to be. Oh, let me go back here. This has to be one of the most beautiful freaking space gun boxes I've ever seen. Alps, by the way. So, yeah, there's your space control gun. Now, before I sign off, my friend, I want to say this. Andrew, you pay attention to this too. I was watching Film Threat, the channel on YouTube, which I like. What's his name? Is it Chris from Film Threat? Jeez, I don't even know. So if you ever watch this Film Threat, don't be offended that I don't remember your first name, at least for the moment. And he had Hannah. Do me a favor, look up Barbera's first name. No, it's Hannah. There's two guys. It's Hannah and Barbera. Is it Chuck Barbera? It might be Chuck. Might be Chuck. Tell me when you see it.
Yeah, Chuck Barbera.
So Chuck Barbera, and you have to watch this. So it was during one of Film Threat's live streams, and they've since broken that segment out, and you can watch it. It's about 10 minutes, and it was like an interview that Chuck Barbera did with NBC, I think it was, and this was 1980, 80, 84, I believe. So 41 years ago, almost like at the start of when I got into collecting. And in the interview, they were talking about creating a new cartoon, a new animated, either a series or a feature. And he had a group, let's call it a diverse group, for lack of a better term, as I'm picking through these ashes of the Annie Award. Man, I hope that Annie Award wasn't his like remains in there, Carl Stallings. That would kind of suck because I means I spilled his remains. But anyway, um, and in the interview, every time he made a suggestion on, and I'm sort of paraphrasing here. You'd have to go watch Film Threats actual video. When he said, "Well, let's do this, let's do that," they're like, "Oh no, you can't throw a pie in the face." And again, this is 1984, okay, not 2024. Oh, you can't throw a pie in the face. That might encourage kids to be violent. Oh, you can't have this kind of person because you need that other type of person. You can't have this theme because it'll spread this narrative. In other words, like all that like woke nonsense stuff that you see today on steroids 41 years ago. I guess back then we called it politically correct stuff. So it was infecting the culture way back then. And you could see that Chuck Barbera was so frustrated in this. He was just like, you know what? I've had it. I'm just kind of done. I'm like out of here, And it was just interesting. Now, I'm closing off because as I have these Looney Tunes collectibles, or what do you call art, whatever that I've managed to acquire, I'm wondering, again, just like with the tin toys, who's watching this stuff anymore? Do any of you like? Well, probably my audience would know all the classic Looney Tunes stuff, the animated, probably even the Flintstones, even the Jetsons. But beyond that, like, I mean, are they syndicated, Andrew? Do they show them anymore? I don't even know if you could see the old classic Bugs Bunny because now they'd have like trigger warnings if even if they did.
They wouldn't play the politically correct ones.
Yeah, they had banned
But
ones like Tokyo Jokio, Jungle Jitter.
explosions or weapons. But as far as now is concerned, I don't really know because I don't watch those kind of channels.
So yeah, but I feel like that's so iconic to me. Looney Tunes, and remember they made Space Jam with Looney Tunes, two Space Jam movies. Our Dalek robot was in Looney Tunes Back in Action. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're starting to die an ignominious death. So let me know your thoughts if you made it this far to the live stream, because I wonder if we're just going to get to a point where like they just fade away and that's it. They're done. Like the rest of this stuff. Even cars, like we always have to wonder now that everything's electrified. Who's going to buy those V16 Cadillacs from the 1930s when Jay Leno's gone? I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure they'll end up at a museum, but probably at a much reduced price, if anything. So, with that, listen, thanks. It's good to have a live stream back under my belt. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumb up if and when you see this. And subscribe if you haven't done that already. I appreciate that. And any suggestions you have, I tried to keep it on topic, mostly auction and collectibles related. So we steered clear of the political stuff. So with that, thanks again, my friends. And I will talk to you later. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, look at this. Let's get this out of here so I could actually end this stream.